Alrighty, Uncle Roddus back again. Video time, fellas. I need to turn that down a bit so it doesn't drown me out. Alrighty. Hey, it's still Flying Nun's 40th anniversary this year, and I've had some more Flying Nun stuff come in, and yeah, a bit of a grail. Wow, I just was looking back at my Discogs listings for their recent editions, and this year's been I've got to let the dog in for damn it. This year's been a really full-on year for collecting records. Come on, dog. It's not tea time yet, not quite. Yep. Yeah, I've made some really impressive purchases towards collecting New Zealand music this year. Really cool records. Some rather expensive buys. This year I've paid the most I ever paid for a record, which I showed earlier on in a video. But yeah, and there's still a lot of bidding going on stuff going on Trade Me. Now, a seller did a massive listing of no reserve or $1 reserve on a whole bunch of New Zealand stuff, and I managed to pick up 8 records from him. Not spectacular records, but some that I've been after for a while, and some compilations and some EPs and stuff like that. So, and I got them for good prices, like less than probably what I'd be paying in the shop. So yeah, I did really well out of that. I'm still waiting for them to arrive, but I've got enough records coming just to show you some stuff. So let's talk about this one that's playing in the background. I don't think I showed this in any of my other previous videos, and this has only been out a few weeks or a month or so. I've had it for a couple of 3 weeks. The River Tethies by Ben Wilcock. Ben is, as you can hear, it's pretty good jazz. It's a jazzy record, self-released on Thick Records by the sound of it. It's on a clear vinyl, and yeah, I really like it. It's fantastic recording. It's great jazz. It's a real mix of styles. Some freer stuff, some stuff like this, which is more on the free side, but and then some more that sound a bit more like show tuney type, contemporary jazz. But yeah, I don't know, real mix of stuff. Unfortunately, there is a couple of issues on this side of the vinyl, and there's some noises that are coming through that sound like not too good. So I am talking with the supplier about that. Unfortunately, this is a very rare limited edition record, so I don't know if they've got any copies left, what they're going to do about it. I really like it. I don't want to lose it. So we'll have to see what's going to happen there. So also what's just come in recently is the new Neil Young. Now this is called the Bootleg Series. Neil Young Archives Official Bootleg Series Disc 1. So this is the first release in the Bootleg Series, and this is actually a double LP, so it's not Disc 1, it's actually 2 discs. So yeah, live at Carnegie Hall in 1970. Neil just solo acoustic on guitar and piano. Yeah, really cool. I mean, lots of classics. Being in 1970, so it's all obviously really old stuff. Some tracks that off the up and coming Harvest, but most of it's obviously off the first LP, and some Buffalo Springfield stuff. So yeah, I mean, I always jump on Neil's archive releases. I mean, yeah, you sort of got to wonder how many of these do you need, but they're always really good, and it's Neil, and it's so cool. And while I picked that one up from Flying Out, I grabbed this one here. This is Neil Young Archives Performance Series, disc 3.5. I'm not quite sure why that is. This is a gatefold, but it's only a single LP. But again, it's a solo LP. Shakespeare Theatre 1971, so it's the following year from the other one. Again, absolutely stunning recording. Neil in great form. Yeah, I have a lot of these. I have a bunch of the earlier ones I picked up on CD before I started collecting vinyl again, but I've sort of picked those up. Then this one here finally turned up, back to New Zealand stuff. This is Little Bushman, The Onus of Sand. This was a Pledge Me release, and there's some of that horrible noise coming out of that record at the moment, just briefly. This is their second album now. So I jumped on this because their first one was reissued last year. Now these were issued in the early 2000s and only on CD originally, but they've been reissued. So first and second LP now have been reissued, and man, these are really good LPs, musically fantastic. I'm a little bit suspect about the sound quality of this one. It seems to be a little bit flat or not engaging as much as I'd like it to be. And saying that, someone else said, no, they were talking about another one actually. Haven't given it a clean yet. I'm waiting for some parts apart from my cleaning machine to clean it up. And it did sound a little bit better at higher volume, but yeah, but musically awesome. And their first LP was absolutely stunning. So pleased to get that. Now the other week I showed, well actually yeah, I mentioned this in another video. This just popped up this week. This is a reissue of the Clean's very first EP, Boodle. So the Clean were a massive band, as I've mentioned before, and for the Flying Nun catalogue, and this is the EP that really put Flying Nun on the map back in 1981. Yeah, 1981. Recorded in September 81, so at the end of 81. This is the Merge Records reissue. I don't have an original of this. I might pick one up if I can find one that I can afford, but they do go for pretty big money. This is the yellow New Zealand, exclusive New Zealand yellow version. There also is, I guess, a black version and a white marble type version. I actually ordered the marble version too because it looked really cool. Finally, obviously got too much money, haven't I? Yeah, I didn't really need to buy 2 EPs of the same thing because these aren't, these were an EP. They weren't cheap. They were reasonably pricey. It actually comes with a copy. Sorry, I missed about that, of the original little cartoon booklet that came with the original. So I'm pretty familiar with the music on this. Not just from the fact that I've got it all on the anthology collection, but also from back in the day. But I'm still unsure as to whether I actually ever owned a copy of this particular EP. I did get onto the Clean a little bit after this, on their next EP which I talked about briefly recently. That was the EP that I owned of theirs. I just want to check the needle on that. Oh, she's got a bit of dust and crap on there. That's better. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not sure whether I did own a copy of this. I would pick up an original of this if I find it, but it's a Clean, man. Right, now some Grails. 2 Grails arrived. 2 Grails arrived yesterday. I got an email from a seller who's selling on Trade Me. You know, the guy I mentioned, the one that's selling everything at really high prices, and he's not moving a lot of stuff, but I did buy some things off him in that Flying Nun stuff that I showed a few videos back. So I picked up some very hard to find Flying Nun EPs and albums, Chris Knox and stuff like that, compilation of theirs of Flying Nun bands. So this, and I paid a lot of money for them, but I only paid bottom line. I wasn't bidding on them. I paid for what bottom price was, and I got all of those auctions, or 5 of them anyway. This guy had a couple more records, and he emailed out a list of records that he hadn't sold on Trade Me and said, make us some offers. So I made some offers on them, and I got both the ones I wanted. Don't buy 7 inches, as you know, but I had to pick this one up because I really, really love this song. Playthings. That's the B-side I'm showing you there. This is their second single from 1981 or 82. They only put out 2 singles, and then they did a live album on Flying Nun. These were self-released, not on Flying Nun. Bird's Eye View. Absolutely love this. Had a copy back in the day. Got outbid on Trade Me for a copy. They don't come up very often. Got outbid for a copy on Trade Me, and I went for over $100 just for a 45. But that's what happens sometimes. So I offered him $70, and he said yes. So that is a lot of money, but for a 7-inch. But I fucking love this song, and I would love to get their first single. I've got the B-side on a compilation. I just discovered that I don't have the A-side, Coloured, which is a fantastic song. They go for $200-300 if you can get one. So this EP arrived again from the same seller. I bought with that same one. And one I've been after for ages, one that I used to have back in the day, the Alpaca Brothers Legless. This is a 5-track EP on Flying Nun. This is Flying Nun 050, number 50, from 1986. And I just absolutely love this EP. And I say I had it back in the day, of course sold it with my collection. But I saw it in Penny Lane like about 5 or 6 years ago when I first started collecting for $50, and I was like, oh wow, I love that, but $50 for an EP is like, what, and I didn't realise at the time that that was probably about what it's worth, but the price of these things has rocketed in the last 5 years because of people like the guy who bought it off, who paid, God knows what he paid for it. So he had this on Trade Me, it didn't sell, he had it for $215 starting price. It's like, fuck me, I'm not paying $215 for this. Had a look on Discogs, seen what the last issues went for, so I got it for $150. I offered him $150 and he took it. So, really pissed that I didn't pick it up for $50 like 5 or 6 years ago when I didn't understand what some of this vinyl was going to be worth. And at the time, $50 was probably a fair price for it, actually. But like I say, prices have skyrocketed. But not worth $200 for an EP, well, in my book. But that's what some people, there are lots of other Flying Nun EPs that are rarer than this, maybe, and go for $300, $400, $500. Second, original. So, yeah, never been reissued. Absolutely fantastic. But I'm so pleased to have that, okay, work's really, really busy, so I can afford to splash out a bit. So, Chris Walker has played a few tracks off this over the years. He rates this very highly as well, his words are, as a near perfect EP. And I agree with him, it is absolutely stunning. But I was thinking, there are some other EPs that are New Zealand EPs, and there are 5 EPs that I think are just as perfect, if not more perfect than this one. And I made a little list of those EPs and I ranked them in order of perfection or perfectness. So if I start at number 5, the 5th EP that I think is the top 5 EPs in New Zealand, absolutely stunning, is the Children's Hour EP, Flesh. Again, another 5-track EP, another EP I used to own back in the 80s. When it first came out, I picked it up. I don't have a copy. Again, it goes for $200-300 now. Or I was bidding on a copy on Trade Me. I don't know what, I can't remember what it went for. Looking on Discogs, a couple of $100. I got offered one for $80 and I didn't take it. Again, I thought it was too much. I freaking wish I had of. I would have had a copy of it, but I love it. That's my 5th most awesome, great CD. The next one, number 4, is, and now, so the next 4 I actually have all original copies. So the 4th one is the Tall Dwarfs Slug Bucket Hairy Breath Monster. So there's the back. So this is like a split cover. I've shown this before. And it has a little poster here that I'm not going to unwrap. So that's an original. Funny thing is, Tall Dwarf originals don't go for huge money. I've managed to pick most of them up for around about $50 at the second-hand shop. So I don't know. They might have sold a few more back in the day than we realised. So that is number 4 on my list of absolutely stunningly cool New Zealand EPs. And I've managed to pick up all of the early Tall Dwarf EPs. There's only one more I need to get. I think I've got 5 of them, one to get. And it's not like one that's really hard to get, it's just I just haven't managed to come across it. So that's number 4. Number 3 is the Alpaca Brothers EP, which I just showed you. 5 tracks of utter fantasticness. The number 2 EP that I think, and this one isn't a Flying Nun one. All of the rest of them, including the Children's Hour one, are all Flying Nun ones. This one isn't. This is it's a hit singles release from the mid-80s. Can I give you a year? This is actually, I don't know, maybe 80. Oh, here we go, 84. So this is actually on hit singles, but it was distributed by WEA. So this actually had a lot more distribution than a lot of maybe the Flying Nun ones. YSC was Youth for Christ, but they just shortened it to UFC because they got a bit of stick from the actual religious organisation Youth for Christ. This is bloody amazing. This is from Christchurch. This is a band from my hometown, Christchurch. So it got a lot of play on student radio back in the day, which is how I got onto it. And I absolutely love this. This 6 tracks of utter perfection. From memory, this is drums and bass, no guitar. Drums, milk can, basics, tom-toms, vocals. Yeah, just the 3 guys. Yeah, really unique little record, very stunning. So that is my number 2. Fantastically cool, perfect EP. And then the number 1, which is one I just showed recently, and this is an original. This is the Clean, their second EP after the Boodle Boodle one. Great sounds great. Good sounds good. So-so sounds so-so. Bad sounds bad. Rotten sounds rotten. That is the full name of this EP. I spoke about it recently. This is an original copy. I paid over 3 figures for it. But it's worth it. And I had a copy back in my youth, in my teenage days, because I bought it because of the Beatnik song. But I love every song on this, and I knew it backwards when I picked this up and played it again. I just remembered how fucking great it is. Number 1 on my list. Number 1. So that is it. That's more fantastic Flying Nun stuff. Some great jazz. Some other stuff. Some Neil Young. So yeah, got those 8 records coming from that cellar. Hopefully they'll be here by the end of the week. Plus, I've just got email saying that 2 more flying out records are shipping their way to me. I've got a bunch of back orders. Some of them and some of them have been held up for months. Some of them are just nothing arrives on time at the moment with this whole COVID situation, and the shipping lanes are all clogged to the max. So, yep, looking forward to getting those. So I'll be able to show all those to you in my next video. All right, we'll catch you later. Cheers.